During my SATs, my teacher asked me, "Why don't you drop your pants in front of the class?" "Why would I do that?" I whispered back, trying not to disturb the other students. "Because I've been watching you across the room. You've been fiddling with your pants." She crossed her arms like she'd caught me red-handed. "Would you believe me if I told you it's because I have to pee?" It was true, but I could tell from her face she wasn't buying it. She shook her head and her voice got louder. "That's nonsense. You're cheating." Other students started looking up from their test booklets. The room was supposed to be silent except for pencils on paper, but now everyone was watching our confrontation. My face burned with embarrassment as more heads turned our way. "How would I be cheating?" I asked, genuinely confused. "You have something in your pants. I don't know if it's a phone or a cheat sheet, but you're using it to help you. That's how you finished this section of the test faster than everyone." She pointed at my answer sheet, which was mostly filled in. I'd always been terrible at standardized tests. My grades were decent, but something about those bubble sheets made my brain freeze up. That's why I'd spent the last 3 months studying every single day. Practice tests, vocabulary flashcards, Khan Academy videos until my eyes burned. I needed a good SAT score to make up for my mediocre GPA if I wanted to get into a decent college. I'm not a good test taker, so I studied extra hard for the SATs to hopefully make up for my bad scores on college applications. I tried to explain, but she was already shaking her head. Mrs. Gordon leaned in closer and lowered her voice, but somehow made it more venomous. "Your parents are drug addicts. There's no way you had time to study. You probably sell drugs yourself." "That's an accusation." I stood up without thinking. My parents had their problems, but they'd been clean for 2 years. They'd gone to rehab and meetings and worked so hard to get better. For her to throw their past in my face like that made my blood boil. And accusing me of selling drugs just because of my family's history was beyond unfair. The other students started murmuring. Desiree, who sat behind me, spoke up. "He's been in the library every day after school. I've seen him studying." "Yeah, he's always asking me math questions," added Carter from across the room. More kids chimed in defending me, but Mrs. Gordon wasn't having it. Her face got redder, and she raised her voice over theirs. "Unless he drops his pants and shows he doesn't have anything, I'm reporting him to College Board, and he will face numerous academic penalties." The room went silent. Everyone stared at me, waiting to see what I'd do. Getting reported to College Board meant this test wouldn't count. It meant colleges would see an accusation of cheating on my record. It meant everything I'd worked for would be ruined. Fine. I was so angry I could barely speak. I stood there in front of 30 other students and undid my belt. My hands were shaking with rage and humiliation. This was insane. No teacher should have this kind of power, but I couldn't risk my entire future on principled stand. I dropped my pants to my ankles, revealing my Rick and Morty boxers. Some kids gasped, some girls smiled, others looked away, but then something fluttered to the ground. A folded piece of paper fell out of somewhere and landed between my feet. I stared at it in shock because I had no idea where it came from. It wasn't mine. Full story on channel link below.